Not every decision is born from careful thought. Some emerge softly, almost invisibly, before rational thinking can take control. You might not understand why something captures your focus. There's no obvious logic, no checklist of benefits, no reasoning that completely adds up. Yet, something within you pauses. Your instincts respond. A voice inside whispers, "Choose this." In that precise instant, your gut feeling becomes stronger than conscious analysis. This is such an instance. Before you lie 5 rings. These aren't simple accessories. Throughout history and across different societies, rings have held profound symbolic value. They've stood for authority, commitment, defense, character, longing, and destiny. Rulers governed with them. Soldiers wore them as tokens of their essence. And common people employed them to confirm commitments that language alone couldn't secure. A ring never merely rests on a finger. It lives within the narrative of whoever selects it. Before we proceed further, something crucial needs your attention. Release analytical thinking. Abandon the urge to comprehend instantly. Observe the rings peacefully. Allow your focus to land organically on one. Select the ring that captivates you most intensely, regardless of whether you understand the reason, particularly if the reason eludes you, because your selection doesn't mirror who you aspire to become. It mirrors who you genuinely are underneath everything else. Your decision might connect to moments you've experienced, to emotional burdens you silently bear, to capabilities you've built without conscious awareness, or to yearnings you conceal for extended periods. No selection here is correct or incorrect, no response superior or inferior. This is an examination to succeed or fail. It's a reflection, and reflections don't display what we prefer to witness. They display what exists. If you're present now, listening, observing, deciding, it indicates a portion of you stands prepared to examine more deeply, prepared to comprehend yourself beyond categories, beyond patterns, beyond the version you present publicly each day. And before continuing, if material like this assists your contemplation, self-understanding, and connection with something more profound, pause to appreciate this video and follow the channel. It sustains this environment and enables continued creation of instances like this where contemplation and significance remain valuable. Now maintain your selection. Don't question it afterward. Don't change rings. That initial impulse carried honesty. It originated from somewhere truthful. In upcoming moments, we'll examine what each ring discloses about whoever selected it. You might observe that despite each journey being distinct, all indicate the same quiet reality. The equilibrium between our identity, what we safeguard, and what we genuinely long for. Breathe deeply. Remember your ring, and let's carefully advance into what your selection unveils about your internal landscape. If you selected the ring representing inner fortitude, you're someone who's mastered enduring more than others recognize. Externally, you might seem peaceful, collected, even unaffected. You seldom reveal how much burden you shoulder or how profoundly certain experiences have shaped you. This isn't because you experience less emotion, but because you've conditioned yourself to remain solid when others might crumble. For you, fortitude isn't noisy. It's silent, measured, and frequently undetectable. You're the type who continues forward even when circumstances are demanding. When existence requires resilience, you respond without pause. Gradually, this has molded you into someone others depend upon, sometimes without checking your well-being. You've mastered being the constant presence, the one who doesn't fracture easily, the one capable of managing. But here's the reality this ring captures. You didn't gain strength through choice exclusively. Fortitude was created through instances where alternatives didn't exist. Obstacles, grief, duties, or emotional pressure may have compelled you to develop faster than desired. And rather than fighting it, you accommodated. There's honor in this fortitude, and there should be. However, there's also a concealed price. When you're accustomed to being strong, requesting assistance might feel difficult. You might feel uneasy displaying vulnerability, even toward people you trust. Part of you assumes that pausing equals failing, and releasing equals losing authority. So you persist silently, absorbing what others cannot. This ring reminds you of a significant teaching. Fortitude doesn't disappear during rest. It doesn't vanish when you relax. Genuine inner power includes recognizing when to pause, when to depend on another, and when to stop maintaining everything independently. You're not feeble for requiring support. You're human. The ring, representing inner fortitude, symbolizes endurance, resilience, and self-command. But it also suggests equilibrium. It requests you consider a different courage. The courage to reveal yourself, to distribute the burden, and to permit yourself moments of ease as you advance. This fortitude will keep serving you, but only when directed by self-kindness. You don't need to demonstrate anything further. The struggles you survived already testify for you. And as this comprehension takes hold, notice how the atmosphere starts shifting. From silent endurance, the journey naturally transitions towards something more refined, more perceptive, a different consciousness that listens instead of resisting. Let's smoothly transition into the following ring, one directed not by force, but by sensation. If you selected the ring representing perception, your internal realm communicates in murmurs instead of orders. You're someone who detects things before explanation arrives. You frequently sense when something is appropriate or inappropriate long before proof emerges. This receptivity isn't coincidental. It's the outcome of profound emotional consciousness. While others depend on logic and certainty, you navigate existence guided by delicate indicators: vocal tone, quietness, atmosphere, and sentiment. You interpret implications naturally. You recognize what remains unspoken. And because of this, people might feel comprehended around you, even when they can't clarify why. You possess an uncommon capacity to connect not merely with others, but with yourself. However, this talent arrives with intricacy. Being perceptive means you take in more than most. Sentiments persist. Attitudes influence your internal equilibrium. You might struggle distinguishing what belongs to you from what belongs to others. Sometimes your compassion becomes burdensome and your receptivity transforms into depletion. You experience profoundly, and profundity is never weightless. There may have been instances when you questioned yourself because others didn't comprehend how you simply understood. You might have been informed you were excessively emotional, excessively receptive, or excessively idealistic. Eventually, this may have driven you to doubt your own internal guidance, even when it was accurate. This ring reminds you of something fundamental. Receptivity isn't frailty. It's a sophisticated form of intelligence. Your perception isn't arbitrary. It's constructed from experience, observation, and emotional recollection. It assists you navigating uncertainty, relationships, and choices in ways logic alone cannot. But the teaching of this ring is equilibrium. You're not intended to shoulder every sentiment you encounter. Not every feeling requires immediate processing. Mastering energy protection is equally important as listening to it. Believing your perception doesn't mean submerging in it. The ring representing perception invites you to respect your internal guidance while establishing gentle limits, to listen without losing yourself in commotion, to experience without becoming overwhelmed. As you develop, your challenge isn't becoming less receptive, but becoming more anchored, to let perception guide you, not overwhelm you. And as this consciousness takes hold, something starts shifting. Sensation leads to modification. Receptivity opens pathways to movement. Once you believe what you sense, you're naturally attracted toward evolution, toward becoming someone fresh repeatedly. That's where the following ring awaits. Quietly formed by modification itself. If you selected the ring representing evolution, your existence has probably been formed by modification more than constancy. You're not someone who settles comfortably into fixed self-versions. Just when circumstances start feeling recognizable, something inside grows unsettled. This isn't dissatisfaction for its own purpose. It's an internal attraction toward development. You perceive profoundly that remaining identical to extensively would mean betraying who you're becoming. Evolution has probably arrived in your existence through instances that weren't simple. Abrupt conclusions, identity transformations, emotional breakdowns, or choices that force recommencement. While others might perceive disorder, you experience these instances as pivotal moments. Agonizing, certainly, but essential. You comprehend something many avoid. Development frequently requires dismantling. Previous roles disintegrate. Convictions fracture. Connections modify or terminate. And in the quietness that follows, you reconstruct differently. This continual evolution renders you flexible, brave, and self-conscious. You understand surviving uncertainty. You understand advancing without possessing all responses. But there's a concealed obstacle in this capability. When evolution becomes recognizable, stillness can feel uncomfortable. You might struggle remaining in circumstances that no longer stimulate development. Dedication might feel burdensome if it resembles stagnation. Sometimes you might depart too rapidly, not because something's damaged, but because it no longer feels vibrant. The ring representing evolution reflects this pressure. It respects your capacity to reinvent yourself while gently requesting reflection. Are you modifying because you're developing or because you're escaping? Modification is powerful, but it must be deliberate. You're not intended to eliminate yourself with every evolution. Some portions of you merit continuation. Some foundations are intended to remain even as the extensions reach fresh directions. This ring teaches that genuine evolution isn't constant motion. It's aware progression, development that incorporates the past instead of rejecting it, modification that strengthens character instead of dissolving it. As you master this equilibrium, your evolutions become calmer, deeper, and more significant. You stop demonstrating your capability through upheaval and start expressing it through wisdom. And as this atmosphere takes hold, something else starts emerging. A yearning for constancy, for security, for limits that defend what you reconstructed. After so much modification, the spirit naturally seeks refuge. That's where the following ring appears. Silent, anchored, and defensive. If you selected the ring representing defense, security isn't merely a preference for you. It's a requirement formed by experience. You're someone who's mastered, frequently through difficulty, that not everything merits open entrance to your internal realm. Confidence for you is constructed slowly and deliberately. You appreciate organization, limits, and predictability because they generate a sensation of tranquility that disorder once disrupted. You're naturally defensive of your sentiments, your moments, your cherished ones, and your personal territory. Others might perceive this as authority or remoteness, but truthfully, it's wisdom created from past letdown. You understand what it resembles to contribute excessively too rapidly and suffer the consequences. Because of this, you construct barriers, not to separate yourself, but to feel secure inside them. You're frequently the one who strategizes ahead, who foresees hazards, who prepares for what might go astray. Constancy matters to you. Pattern calms you. Distinct regulations make existence feel controllable. And when you dedicate seriously because you don't open the entrance lightly. But this ring also reflects a quiet pressure within you. Defense can slowly transform into limitation. Limits, when reinforced excessively firmly, can become confinement instead of protection. You might discover yourself restraining even when your spirit wants to advance. Permitting people entrance may feel dangerous, even when they've demonstrated consistency and attention. Sometimes you might confuse security with stagnation. The ring representing defense gently requests you examine this equilibrium. Defense is beneficial when it maintains your wellness, but it becomes constraining when it prevents development, connection, and happiness. Not every hazard leads to damage. Not every opening leads to deprivation. Your capability lies in judgment, not retreat. You're capable of selecting when to reduce your protection, just as you're capable of raising it. Genuine security arrives not from constant defense, but from confidence in your capacity to respond if something goes astray. This ring respects your requirement for constancy while inviting adaptability. It reminds you that limits are intended to defend existence, not prevent it from flowing. And before advancing, if these contemplations resonate with you and assist you comprehending yourself more distinctly, pause to appreciate this video and follow. It assists keeping this environment alive for deeper conversations like this one. As this comprehension takes hold, notice how another atmosphere starts stirring beneath the surface. Beneath defense, beneath authority, there's frequently something powerful waiting for expression. Yearning, drive, and a fire that refuses being ignored. That's where the final ring leads us next. If you selected the ring representing yearning and drive, there's a fire inside you that refuses staying silent. You're motivated, not always loudly, not always visibly, but profoundly. There's something within you that desires more from existence than repetition, comfort, or survival. You're stimulated by purpose, by intensity, by the sensation that you're advancing towards something significant. Standing motionless isn't neutral for you. It resembles deprivation. You probably experience existence in vivid shades. When you care completely. When you desire something, you sense it in your body, not merely your thoughts. Enthusiasm fuels your creativity, your objectives, and your vision of who you could become. You're not satisfied with adequate. You're attracted toward development, acknowledgement, and influence. But this fire arrives with a shadow. Drive can quietly transform into burden. You might connect your self-value to advancement, outcomes, or external confirmation. Rest can feel uncomfortable, as if decelerating means falling behind. There may be instances when you push yourself excessively hard, ignoring emotional or physical boundaries, because the yearning to accomplish feels stronger than the requirement to pause. This ring reflects that pressure distinctly. Your drive isn't a defect. It's a powerful life energy. But when yearning is disconnected from significance, it becomes draining. Pursuing objectives without alignment can leave you accomplished externally and hollow internally. The ring representing yearning and drive invites you to reconnect with why you desire what you desire. Not every objective needs to demonstrate your value. Not every dream needs to be hurried. When drive is directed by purpose, it becomes maintainable. When yearning is aligned with your deeper principles, it transforms from burden into guidance. You're permitted to desire more, and you're also permitted to appreciate where you are presently. As this comprehension takes hold, pause to look backward. Each ring represented a distinct internal energy. Fortitude, perception, evolution, defense, and yearning. None of them exist independently. They're not separate identities. They're portions of the same internal terrain. The ring you selected doesn't determine your fate. It emphasizes the energy that's most active in you presently. And that energy isn't permanent. It transforms as you develop. If this journey resonated with you, if you recognize portions of yourself in these contemplations, consider appreciating this video and following the channel. It permits this environment to keep examining the deeper dimensions of the mind collectively. Remember this: you're not here to become someone else. You're here to comprehend yourself more honestly. And sometimes all it requires to begin that comprehension is selecting a ring,